Hey guys, and welcome back to DIY Rustic Wedding. Today, as promised, I'm going to show you how I did the lace trim on my veil. If you remember from a previous video, I created some flowers on the top of my veil, and I created the veil myself. So I went in today and I got the lace trim that I'm going to be using for my veil, and I think it's gorgeous. I really wanted to do one with beading, but there's no beading in my dress, so I thought that it might look a little odd. Now, it's basically impossible to match fabric brought lace to the dress that you have. So if you're really particular about that, then I suggest either doing something like a beaded trim. Even if you don't want to do a lace trim on your veil, you can do a beaded trim, and it's just the same. It's probably even simpler than to do a lace trim on your veil. But if you want to see how I put the lace on my trim, then just keep on watching. What you're going to need for this project is going to be 5.5 yards of lace trim, and I'm basing it off of the chapel length veil that I decided to make. So I decided to get a little bit extra just in case I needed it, and I'll link the video of how to make a veil in the down box. And I did decide to do flowers on mine. You're just going to take the end piece, so where it falls, let's see. So in my case, mine is right here. What you're going to do is take your lace trim, and this is going to be pointed towards the inside of your veil, and this is going to be the piece that trims it. So you're going to want to find the end of your veil, and you're going to take some pins, and you're going to pin the lace trim to your veil so to make it easier to sew. This is going to be a pretty tedious process, and you want to make sure that it's perfect because everyone's going to see this when you walk down the aisle, and you really don't want there to be any mistakes. So now that you have about a foot, probably half a foot actually, of it pinned, you're going to want to take your needle and thread and just stitch it through the end. And then when you go to the end, you're going to come through and you're going to stitch around the sides up here. I'm just going to do a single, 2 single stitches on each of these little corners just to make them stay at the end. That's completely up to you. You can even iron it to make it stay, but I really want to stitch it just to make sure that it's perfect. So you're going to thread your needle through, and essentially you're just going to start at the front and just take a little piece of tulle. You really want to make sure that the tulle is flat up against the lace trim, and you want to make sure that you take the pin out before sewing over it. Alright, now when you get to the corner or the curve of your veil at the end, you're going to see that your lace trim or your beading is going to start to bunch up. And so basically what you're going to do is you're going to take your scissors, and then you're just going to lay your lace trim, and then you're going to lay your tulle over that. And you're just going to kind of see where you're going to need to adjust. I can see that right here is where it's really bunching, and so I'm going to take that and I'm going to give it a little snip. Then I'm going to sew it. Now once you've reached the piece that you cut, you're going to adjust it to the curve. So my piece curves this way, and I'm simply going to tuck it under just to slightly alter the direction of the trim. So now instead of going in a straight line, it's going to go in a curved line. And then you're simply just going to sew that closed, making sure it's really secure. So this is what the finished product looks like. As you can tell, it's completely sewn onto the veil,